Man, a recent survey from Edward Jones shows more Americans than ever are this close to a financial disaster.
It turns out we're spending almost $18,000 a year on non-essentials.
So there's a survey out revealing baby boomers are unprepared for retirement, having less than half of what they'll need in savings.
Have you ever wondered if our collective financial responsibility might actually be beneficial in some ways? It's a thought-provoking question, especially when we consider the staggering statistics around personal finance in America. Credit card debt is at an all-time high, and a majority of Americans can't afford a $1,500 emergency expense without going into debt. Astonishingly, even one-third of individuals earning $250,000 a year or more live paycheck to paycheck. But what does this mean for those who manage to keep their spending in check? Is it possible for everyone to be financially responsible, or would that lead to unintended consequences? If everyone practiced financial responsibility, who would be left to spend money on disposable consumer goods, overpriced restaurant meals, luxury cars, and speculative investments? These expenditures support a vast number of jobs and industries. If you're financially responsible, are you inadvertently denying someone else the opportunity to earn a living and achieve financial stability themselves? Should we be grateful to those living paycheck to paycheck for their contributions to the economy? The current financial landscape is bleak for many. The pandemic saw an increase in savings due to government stimulus and paused loan payments, but those savings have largely evaporated, replaced by mounting credit card debt. This raises a critical question. How much of this financial distress is due to personal recklessness, and how much is due to systemic issues that force people to struggle just to keep up? Consider what it means to be financially responsible. Financial advisors recommend having an emergency fund, retirement savings, and paying cash for major purchases like a car. Additionally, by the age of 30, it's often suggested that you should have a house with a 20% down payment. These goals are incredibly expensive, and many people simply cannot afford them. It's easy to judge those in financial distress as making poor decisions. However, the reality is that for many Americans, no amount of thriftiness will allow them to save enough for an emergency fund, let alone meet all the criteria for financial responsibility. During the pandemic, people saved more due to the inability to spend and government aid. A 2021 survey by Go Bank Rates found that 44% of Americans were saving for an emergency fund, 19% for retirement, and 13% for a home. Yet, a 2023 report by Bloomberg and the Federal Reserve revealed that these savings have dwindled, with only the top 20% of Americans retaining any excess savings. Faced with this disheartening reality, many Americans have turned to lotteries, get-rich-quick schemes, and risky investments, hoping for a financial miracle. They see no chance of success through traditional saving and investing methods. The best years for saving money evaporated quickly, leading to a sense of hopelessness. Being poor is also incredibly expensive. In low-income areas, big stores are scarce, forcing residents to either travel long distances for groceries or pay higher prices at convenience stores. These food deserts are just one example of how the poor remain trapped in a cycle of financial hardship. But what about those who could do better? There are individuals who have the means to be financially responsible, but choose not to. For them, there are 3 compelling reasons to get their finances in order, and one significant reason why they might not want to. The downside of everyone becoming financially responsible is that it could make investing more challenging. If more people enter the stock market, prices will rise, making it harder for consistent investors to find undervalued opportunities. Warren Buffett, a legendary investor, often experiences a market rally whenever he discloses a new purchase, which he dislikes because it makes acquiring more of a good stock expensive. If everyone saved diligently for a house, the increased demand would drive up prices, making it harder for individuals to afford homes and achieve financial responsibility. Investments like stocks and real estate derive value from selling products and services to consumers. If everyone held on to their old phones and refrained from unnecessary upgrades, companies like Apple would see reduced earnings, impacting shareholders. However, despite the potential downsides, there are 3 strong reasons why widespread financial responsibility would benefit everyone. First, financially responsible behavior would create a healthier economy. The rise of subscription services, which have grown by 435% over the last decade, reflects people's inability to make upfront purchases. This trend, expected to reach a market size of $1.5 trillion by 2025, shows how people are drawn to recurring payments because they lack the funds to buy things outright. While subscription services can be convenient, they often end up costing more over time. If people had the means to save and make upfront purchases, they could avoid the financial traps of these services. Additionally, financially responsible behavior could lead to better work-life balance. If people bought less and focused on quality over quantity, the demand for mass-produced, low-quality goods would decrease. This shift would reduce the environmental impact and lower collective costs, making it easier for everyone to save and invest. Lastly, a more financially responsible populace would strengthen social safety nets like Social Security, providing better support for those in need. Responsible spending would mean more people could invest in long-term, high-quality goods, contributing to a more sustainable economy. The bonus reason is that less consumption means we wouldn't need to work as hard to produce unnecessary goods. Today, Americans work fewer hours than they did a century ago, but there's still room for improvement in achieving a balanced life. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.